In level 3, there's more steps, okay? So here's an important thing to note. See how there's a square root here? I'm not just going to square this because this square root needs to be by itself on one side of the equation before I square it, right? In level 2, I had something being squared and that was the only thing on this equation. I had something being square rooted that was the only thing on this side of the equation. So what I need to do first is actually get this part that's being square rooted by itself. So I'm going to get rid of this negative 10. I'm going to add 10 to both sides. So I end up with the square root of x minus 5 equals negative 8 plus 10, same as 10 minus 8 is 2. Now I have something being square rooted. I'm going to make a choice. Oh, something's being square rooted. I'm going to square both sides. So now I get the square root and the squared, they cancel. They're inverse operations. So I have x minus 5 equals 2 squared is 4. And then I'm going to solve. And I get x equals 9. And that's my answer. Look, I can check it. Look, if I plug back in, this is 9 minus 5. That's 4. The square root of 4 is 2. And then 2 minus 10 is negative 8. Looks good. Let's look here. Here, something is being squared. In order for me to square root it and get rid of this squared, I need the squared part by itself. So I'm going to add 20 to both sides. Five plus 20 is 25. Now, all of this is being squared, so I'm going to square root. If I square root on the left, I square root on the right. Now remember, when I square root, I'm looking what number multiplied by itself can equal 25. That could be positive 5, or it could be negative 5. Okay, so now this is where I'm going to split into two separate equations. This x plus 3 could equal negative 5, or this x plus 3 could equal positive 5. I'm going to subtract 3 on both sides. And that's true in both equations, right? That's just what I need to do to get x by itself if I'm adding 3 to x. So I'm subtracting 3. When I do the math, I get two different answers. I get x could equal negative 8 or 2. Okay? And again, you can look and see that it works, right? Negative 8 plus 3 would be negative 5. Squared would be positive 25. Minus 20 is 5. Same here. If I plug in 2, 2 plus 3 is 5. Squared is 25. Minus 20 is 5. All right, let's look here. Here, notice the only thing that's squared is this x. We have to get the part that's squared by itself, so I'm going to just try to get that x squared by itself. I'm going to start by adding 17. I get 5x squared equals, this is 45. This x squared is being multiplied by 5. Now look, the 5 is not squared, so I can't square root yet. I have to get rid of this 5 first. Only the x is being squared here. Only the x is being squared. So I get this, and then when I square root both sides, right, now I only have something being squared. So now this is x equals plus or minus 3. So my two answers are x could equal negative 3, or x could equal positive 3. All right, let's take a look. I have lots happening here. Here's my x. I need to get my x by itself. I notice that it's inside a square root sign, but see this, that square root sign? I have to get that by itself on one side of the equal sign before I can touch it. So first I'm going to get rid of this minus 7, right? We always deal with addition and subtraction first. So I'm going to go ahead and add 7 to both sides. So I still have the square root of x plus 4 over 2 equals negative 5 plus 7 is 2. Now, this whole thing is being divided by 2, so I'm going to get rid of that by multiplying by 2. I get the square root of x plus 4 equals 2 times 2 is 4. Now I have something that's being square rooted. It's all by itself, so I can say, okay, I'm ready. Let's go ahead and square on both sides. So the square and the square root cancel. I'm left with x plus 4, and then 4 squared, that equals 16. And I'm going to just subtract 4 on both sides, and I get 12. Okay, so observe, again, if I have a square root in the equation, like these two, I have just one answer. If something in the equation is being squared, and then I have to square root it as part of my process of solving, that's where I get the two answers. Okay, so just be mindful of that. And notice what I had to do is I had to get this part that was square rooted by itself before I could square. I had to get this part that was squared by itself. This part that was squared, I had to get those pieces by themselves on one side of the equal sign before I could move forward into either squaring or square rooting to get rid of them.